My story isn't really about like the walk itself, but kind of coming home to this like horrible, shameful atmosphere amongst my roommates who are all guys, and only two of them do not drink at all, and one of them does party but not often, so he doesn't really understand or think about the party culture all that much. So I had gone out, I slept with someone, and instead of walking home because it was Halloween, I wanted a ride home because I didn't want to walk home wearing my toothpaste costume. And I got home, I didn't have my key, so I asked my roommate to open the door for me, and all of them were very, where have you been, very disappointed, when in my mind I didn't really understand why it was any of their business. I think particularly my roommates don't view me in that sense, that I would go out and sleep with someone very casually. So when I did that, I think that they kind of viewed it as me like betraying my morals, when it's not. And so when I got home, they kind of, I think they had a changed viewpoint of me, and they found a lot of like sadness in that, or a lot of disappointment.
I don't know.
I'm not really sure.
It wasn't so much of me being shameful, but me just being like, oh my gosh, I'm not waking up in a familiar environment where I have my toothbrush and clothes to change into, and I have to get somewhere very soon.
I think a lot of times it's kind of a fear of feeling shame for what they had just done, particularly like with people that you don't know. If you're afraid of that judgment from someone, that like if it's a one-night stand, you hadn't known them beforehand, or even if you had and you're just afraid of that judgment, you kind of just want to get out of there as soon as possible.
I think there's an awkward tension in the morning where it's like I don't want to overstay my welcome, but also I just stayed the night with this person. So I think it's this tension between not wanting to overstay your welcome and also not wanting to leave too soon, but feeling very awkward about the possibility of overstaying your welcome.
The walk of shame, I think, is shameful because of the sexual activity.
Like, a lot of it is probably awkwardness and just the whole nature of the situation, but part of it could be just social standards that people tend to fall into.
Oh, there's definitely a difference there. Because if I see a guy walking around in sweats in the morning, it's a world we live in where, if he had sex, then it's less of my business, I feel like. Because there's less stigma around that. Because, the overall, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Just the overall look of our society, we just, guys are supposed to get laid.
I think that difference kind of starts with like the way guys can dress at parties. Like a girl's attire at a party is kind of more like done up. Girls spend a lot more time getting ready or like being prepared, and honestly a lot of guys I see at parties are wearing like a t-shirt and jeans or whatever they went to class in that day, and like no one would think about it twice if they saw them walking down the street, because there's like that standard of how you dress when you go out. And guys don't really have to follow that at all.
I've thought about this one a lot. While I feel like it happens about 50-50, I feel like it's more respectful for a guy to be sleeping over at a girl's house. And the reason that I think that is because it makes it seem safer than going to a house with a bunch of guys to sleep over. I'm not sure why that is either, but I also think it's a matter of respect. I would want to be the one walking out of the house in the morning, not her.
I think a lot of it has to do with being a gentleman and whether chivalry is dead or not. Regardless if it's a one-night stand, like if a girl's at your house, don't just expect them to walk home. Give them a ride home. Because I've had numerous of my friends call me and be like, will you please come pick me up? Because they don't want to be seen the next morning in their clothes. And they don't want to walk. And the guy obviously is not, I don't know if they don't feel comfortable to ask the guy for a ride, or if they don't feel comfortable asking the guy to call them an Uber or to walk them home. So I definitely think that there's an obligation to have a guy help with the ride. And I think the same goes with like plan B and everything. I think it should be a mutual thing because it takes two to tango and it's not just one person. But I have had friends ask guys to take them home the next morning and call them an Uber. So I think that it should be on both the girl and the guy to work that out.
I think it's respectful to walk a girl home if she's in walking distance. And in the experience where I told that story, that girl took a Uber home in the morning and refused to have me walk her home. And so I'm not sure where the respect lies if I can't actually give the respect.
Yeah, I definitely think that like first he should help her out, whether whoever's going home from the other person's house, like someone should at least offer to like call an Uber or something for them, if not walk them home if that's not convenient. But because I mean, like, you're having sex with them, so you might as well be nice.
I don't think that I can speak for women as a whole, but I think that women are moving towards a time in life where they're not as, historically women have been shamed, and I think that we're moving towards a time where women are really fighting against that and working towards not being ashamed of who we are and the positions that we've been historically placed in society.
I feel like if they've made the decision to be there the night before and it wasn't a mistake or anything, then yeah, I mean, why not have pride, you know?
Do they feel proud? I mean, what's not there, like, what's not to be proud about? Like, you went out and you got some girl. But that being said, because of the stigma around sexual activity and leaving early in the morning, which means you're not in a relationship or married or whatever, the pride has to come from within. It can't come from what everybody else thinks around you. The pride has to come from who you are as a person, your emotional stability, your belief in yourself that you can do what you want. And I think that's important. I think that's really important for women to have.